Come with me today on my journey on Singapore Airlines 787 business class from Singapore Changi Airport to Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport in February 2025. Our journey from Singapore to Bangkok today clocks in at a little over 1,400 kilometers and takes 2 hours actually airborne. If you enjoy the video, I'd be extremely grateful if you would like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Check-in today was at Changi Terminal 3. My flight was departing from Terminal 2, but the lounges are far superior in Terminal 3, so I started here. Here you can see the Chinese New Year decorations. As I was able to use the electronic gates, I was through security in no time at all, and made my way over to the KrisFlyer Lounge in Terminal 3. The KrisFlyer Lounge is just up these escalators. When you reach the top, hand your boarding pass to the friendly staff who will direct you to the correct lounge. Today, I was in the business lounge. I had about 3 hours before my flight, so I started off with a sparkling water and a Diet Coke, or Coke Light as they call it in Asia. My first course of food was pineapple fried rice with fried chicken. This is made to order by a chef who prepares it in front of you. For lounge food, this was surprisingly good. I had a chili paste on the side that added a nice kick to it. The lounge itself was fairly quiet when I got there, although it did fill up later on. Here you can see the live cooking stations as well as the self-serve options for food. And over here, of course, the drinks. Next up was a bowl of Singapore laksa with prawns and quail eggs. As before, this was made to order. Look, I'm not going to pretend this was Singapore's best laksa. If you want to find that, go look in some hawker centre that you or I have probably never heard of. That said, this was damn good, a really nice version. Next up, I kept it simple. They had a taro roll, some french fries, a barbecue pork bun, and some fish in a pineapple sauce. These were from the self-service buffet counter. Not fantastic, but actually pretty good. And look, if you're looking for a bit of quick food before your flight, no complaints. In the interests of trying things, I also had this sardine bun, a few more french fries, some of the Indian curry, which I think was a cheese curry, it was vegetarian, and that fried thing on the right, I'm not sure what that was, but it was good. The Terminal 3 lounge also serves crab sushi. Again, not going to win any awards for the best sushi in the world. That said, it was pretty good. The rice was flavoursome, the crab meat was tasty, and it came with soy sauce and wasabi on the side. Again, for a lounge, really nice. To finish off my lounge food, I also had some ice cream. 1 scoop of vanilla and 1 scoop of chocolate. They did have a strawberry, but it wouldn't fit in my bowl. In the Terminal 3 lounge, ice cream is self-serve from those 3 flavours and the scoops on the side. Whilst this wasn't as good as the ice cream in the first class lounge, it was very tasty, no complaints. Having finished up my food, I then made my way over to Terminal 2. You get to Terminal 2 by a quick sky train, which is perhaps a 2-minute walk from the lounge. Trains depart here roughly every 5 minutes, so you won't be waiting long at all. I'll speed up this segment so as not to bore you. After a ride that lasted only 2 minutes, we arrived at Terminal 2. I had a very brief wander around the lounge before I made my way over to the gate. Sometimes when you're seeing sights like this, it's hard to believe you're in an airport, but you are. My flight today was departing from one of the F gates, so I made my way over. It was a short 5-minute walk. Today I was flying from gate F41. No queue in security. Before I boarded, I snapped a very quick video of the plane. This is the 787 that's going to take us all the way to Bangkok. I boarded and took a look around my seat. As you can see here, the seat is an odd design. The seat itself is not that wide, and yet there is an absolutely huge tray table to the side. Also, somewhat annoyingly, they have a lap belt here, which pulls across your shoulders. You do have to wear it for takeoff and landing. That said, there's a small little footstool here, and the overall seat is quite spacious. For a 2-hour flight, this is perfectly adequate. The TV screen is not huge, but large enough to watch a little film during your flight. At 2 hours, you just about have time. The in-flight entertainment is controlled by this digital control, but also has a screen for you to browse whilst you're viewing, so as not to disrupt whatever you're watching. Just tucked off to the side is the storage compartment. In here was a bottle of water, the headphones, as well as 2 USB Type-A charging ports and a power socket for you to charge your devices. I'm not sure what the credit card terminal is for, perhaps in-flight shopping? The headphones provided in business class are Singapore Airlines' own brand headphones. They're noise cancelling and padded, and for a 2-hour flight they kinda did the job. I wouldn't want to wear them for any long period of time though, as the padding was not so comfortable. These are understandably a lesser version of the Bang & Olufsen ones which are provided in first class. As you can see here, these are not Singapore branded and are a lot more comfortable. I can't quite get my head around the design of this seat. The tray table to the side is absolutely huge. They could have made the seat so much bigger. I mean, I'm not a huge guy. I'm about 6'1", maybe 85 kgs, and I found this seat a little bit cramped. For 2 hours, it was fine. For any longer, I'm not sure I'd have liked it. To the side, there's a reading light, should you want to have some light during the dark. After about 15 minutes on the plane, we began our pushback from the gate, and Singapore Airlines began playing their iconic safety video.
Attention, as we bring you through this important safety briefing, an honoured journey through Singapore.
Taking a look at the menu now, I'm happy to report that post-COVID, Singapore has returned to paper menus. My meal today was on the left, the Singapore to Bangkok route. It was 3 courses, as well as items from the bakery, namely the garlic bread. Today's drink options include a 2018 vintage champagne, as well as a number of white, as well as red options. For a 2-hour regional flight, this is an impressive wine list, and the wines were very high quality. They also had a 10-year port available. I'm not sure what this would go with on the menu, but I'm sure just their standard wine list. Shortly, we made our way to the runway and began our takeoff. I'll speed up this clip so as not to bore you. Barely 10 minutes after we took off, food was served. To start, we had a prawn noodle salad. Not the best salad in the world, but the prawns were fresh and it was tasty. And thankfully again, the prawns had been deveined, which is always appreciated. For my main course, I had the herb-crusted sea bass. As you can see here, all 3 courses were served at the same time, which is a shame as it meant my main got a little bit cold while I ate my starters. That said, I understand that logistically, they can't serve everybody course by course on a flight this long. They can do it in first class, but they only have 4 passengers maximum to take care of. This was not one of the best main courses I've had on Singapore Airlines. Don't get me wrong, it was fresh and tasty, but nothing exciting. Similarly, the dessert was really nothing to write home about. It was a chocolate mousse cake, and look, it got the job done, but let's just say, I'm glad that I ate in the lounge. The ice cream that I had there was a far superior dessert. With my meal, I was also served 2 pieces of Singapore's signature garlic bread. This is really tasty, although one thing that I did note, having recently flown the first class cabin, is that the garlic bread served in business appears smaller and less appetizing. Here's the first class version by way of comparison. It looks, and tasted, far more garlicky, and the roll was bigger. The business version was really good though, no complaints. After I'd finished my meal, the crew did another drink service, and I ordered, in a predictable fashion, another Diet Coke. For the rest of the flight, I just kind of gazed out of a window, watching the earth pass before me, and watched a film as well. This is only a 2-hour flight, so there's not much you can do on it, but I certainly didn't get bored. Taking a quick look around the toilets, these are decently sized and quite nicely appointed, although they lack a lot of the nicer touches that they have in the first cabin. One thing they do provide, which is particularly good, is Penhaligons toiletries. This is a high-end London brand, and they provide you with a cologne, a face mist, and a hand spray. Also provided are various amenities, including a shaver, hairbrush, toothbrush, and shaving foam. You can use these to dry your hands. They're very soft. The sink is quite small, but then again this is an aeroplane toilet, you can't complain. As the flight progressed, it got dark outside. My flight took off at 6:30, so this was just before sunset time. I settled into my film and enjoyed myself. After about 2 hours in the air, we began our approach into Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport. I'll speed up this next bit so as not to bore you. After a fairly bumpy landing, we made our way over to the gate. I forget which gate it was, but it was right next to the immigration, so I was through in no time. I always love Bangkok's distinctive airport design. You could recognize it anywhere. Oh, there we are, gate D5. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. After using the fast-track security available for business class passengers, I was through with hand luggage only in no time.